Hello and welcome! Have you ever heard that familiar tale about Marco Polo? The one where he travels to China, discovers noodles, and brings them back to Italy, leading to the birth of pasta? It's a great story, but is it actually true? Today, we're diving into the fascinating journey of noodles, how they've been adapted across cultures, and we'll debunk that very myth. Plus, we'll pick up some useful new vocabulary along the way. Before we unravel the history, let's ponder this week's question. It's about a region in China renowned for its fiery cuisine. Which region of China is famous for its spicy flavors? Is it A. Shanghai, B. Sichuan, or C. Guangzhou? I'll reveal the answer later in the program. Noodles. Whether you buy them dried in a packet or enjoy them freshly made, their global popularity is undeniable. Originating, most likely, somewhere in China, noodle recipes were spread far and wide by traders along the ancient Silk Road. What's fascinating is how, at each new destination, people would give the noodles a twist. They'd change or alter them in a creative way, adding local flavors and ingredients to make something entirely new and exciting. Now, about that Marco Polo story. Many believe he introduced noodles to Italy in the 13th century, which then became pasta. However, Jen Lin Liu, author of the book On the Noodle Road, sheds some light on this. She explains. So, noodles were very exotic in the 1920s and 30s in the United States, and there was a new pasta association in America that wanted to promote the manufacturing of dried pasta. And so they came up with a story about how Marco Polo went to China and found the noodle there and brought it all the way to Italy. So, back in the 1920s and 30s, noodles were seen as exotic. That means unusual and exciting, largely because they came from far away. The Pasta Association cleverly came up with this Marco Polo narrative, meaning they suggested or thought up the idea to boost sales of their new invention, dried pasta. And it worked. Pasta sales soared. Let's journey to another country that has wholeheartedly embraced and transformed noodles, Japan. One of its most iconic noodle dishes is ramen. Frank Striegel, a Tokyo-based blogger who eats over 300 bowls of ramen a year, explains that Chinese immigrants in the late 1800s significantly influenced this beloved Japanese dish. He says, and at one point or another, different chefs decided to localize these dishes. They said, "We love these Chinese noodle dishes. However, why don't we tweak them? Why don't we make them a little bit more Japanese?" Frank mentions that at one point or another, meaning at some unspecified time in the past, chefs began to adapt these Chinese noodle dishes. They did this by tweaking them. To tweak something means to change or alter it slightly, often to improve it or make it different, in this case, more Japanese. By making these small changes, like adding new toppings and different meats, Japanese chefs created the ramen we recognize today. Frank Striegel finds this continuous adaptation particularly fascinating. And what I find fascinating about ramen, compared to perhaps other wonderful noodle dishes around the world, is that ramen continues to evolve. Unlike other Japanese foods, it's okay to push the boundaries. Host. So, ramen continues to evolve. It develops and changes gradually, responding to new ideas and developments. And unlike some other traditional Japanese foods, modern ramen chefs often push the boundaries. This idiom means they do things that challenge normally accepted behaviors or traditions, leading to innovative and exciting new ramen creations. From ancient origins to instant packet noodles, it's clear these strands of dough have a rich history and a vibrant present, maintaining a delicious link to the past. Now, speaking of flavors, let's return to our quiz question. I asked, which region of China is famous for its spicy flavors? Was it A. Shanghai, B. Sichuan, or C. Guangzhou? If you said B, Sichuan, you are absolutely correct. Sichuan province is renowned for its bold and spicy cuisine, famously using the Sichuan peppercorn and being the home of dishes like Sichuan hot pot. All right, it's time to recap the vocabulary we've learned today. To give something a twist. This means to change or alter something in a creative way to make something new and exciting. Exotic. This adjective describes something unusual and exciting because it comes from far away. At one point or another, this phrase means at some unspecified time in the past. To tweak. This means to change or alter something slightly, often to improve it. To evolve. This means to develop and change gradually. And finally, the idiom to push the boundaries. This means to do things which challenge normal, acceptable behavior or traditions. And that's all we have time for today. I hope you enjoyed our noodle journey and picked up some new words. Until next time, goodbye!